guys, welcome to Bookmas day 3. It's absolutely crazy to me. I can't believe we're in December. Welcome to my November wrap-up. I cannot believe that we are in December. I'm on the floor today because I wanted to showcase some of my lower in this tree. I can't get in any shots if I sit in my chair, so I'm just on the floor today. That's okay. We got my jingle bells in the shot, so if I bump them, you may hear a little jingle jingle. That's okay. So for the month of November, I honestly did not do as well as I wanted to, although I still didn't do bad at all. I did pretty dang good. I got into a major reading slump end of October when my husband left for like a month training. All of a sudden it was like, reading is not fun without him, and I was like, oh my dear goodness, this cannot be happening right now. So what I did read, I actually read quite a few more romances in 1 month than normal because I was missing my hubby. Cheers. Yeah, I'm gonna go over what I read. I read a total of 9 books, so like I said, not bad at all. 5 of those were physical and 4 were actually ebooks, so I don't do ebook and audiobook quite as much as physical book because it's just my preferred method, but I'm trying to do a little bit better to check stuff out and check authors out and stuff like that. So I did pretty good this month with that. And I had 5 romances, I had 1 Christian nonfiction, I had 1 teen, one like YA Christian book, and then 1 middle grade book. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about all my reads starting from the beginning of my month down to the end of my month. Okay, so the first book that I'm gonna talk about was actually an ARC that I got like at the end of October, and I finished it very beginning of November, and that is Perfectly Wedded by Grace Worthington. I've read 1 other book by Grace and I liked it. It was very enjoyable, so I was very excited to be able to read this one too. I gave this one a 3.5 stars, although on farther reflection and thinking back to it, I'm kind of sitting here thinking I've thought more on the story and the characters ever since reading it, so I think it's more of a 3.75 stars. I think it's more of a 3.75 because I really enjoyed it. It was funny. It was just, to me, her books are, they're funny, they're clean and closed door, and like they kind of have a little bit of like funny rom-com banter that I get from Sarah Adams, but they just don't quite hit the point with like the writing or the characters to where like I just get 4 to 5 stars all the time, and that happens sometimes. And not saying, I'm pretty sure I've at least rated 1 Sarah Adams book under a 4 star, so it's not like she's always, that's just for me personally. I know others who rate all of hers 4 and 5 stars, so, but I think she's like a solidly good author, and I feel like probably one of her books is going to hit with me more than others and it will pass that 4 star. This just wasn't it, but I did really like it. This is a cute, gosh, this is like marriage of convenience, fake dating, like friends to lovers type of vibes. It's honestly, the best way I could describe it is if you've read or heard of Sarah Adams' The Rule Book, which a lot of people were upset about that, and I do have a review for that one from earlier this year, but a lot of people were upset, me included, because this was her first book, Sarah Adams' first book, that actually had an open door scene in it. She did warn all of her audience, and she put a disclaimer at the beginning and said it's only in this 1 chapter, just skip it if you want a closed door, which I think, you know, should be something that all authors have to do, warn you, give you where, but I don't like skipping a book, so I was very disappointed. I hope that's not a pattern that she continues on. I hope it was just that once, or, you know, if it does happen again, it's not like in every single book of hers. I really want her to stay closed door because she's one of my favorite romance authors. But if you liked that one, or if you liked the premise, or liked it all except for the open door scene, I think this is the book for you, because honestly, this gave me so many vibes from that book, but it was still different enough that it didn't feel like it was a rule book ripoff. It just felt same vibes, a few of the same, you know, like marriage of convenience, like underlining themes, but completely clean and closed door. So really liked this one, giving it a 3.75. We started off the month strong with a cute romance while I was missing my husband. So the second book that I finished was Once Upon a Prince by Rachel Hawk. That's how I'm gonna pronounce her name. I gave this one a 3.75. Also, this is the first in the Royal Wedding series. I actually have a full review on this one too, so I will link that somewhere. I'm not going to go too much into this, but this is a Christian contemporary romance, so not quite a rom-com. I think for me, I'm just more into rom-coms than contemporary romances, because I want faster pace in my romances. So, but it was very, very good. I liked it. And if you want to hear more in detailed thoughts, go to my review. And then the third book that I finished this month, yet another romance. Are we surprised? I was missing that man like crazy. Okay, so next we have Welcome to Serenity by Cheryl Woods. This one I only gave a 3 stars, mainly because there's spice in this book. I started the Sweet Magnolia series after watching some of the series, the Netflix series, and I liked it. The first book was really good, and I'm pretty sure it only had like a little thing at the very end, like epilogue, and I was like, okay, you know, I don't always need to read the epilogues anyway. But then it's kind of gotten more and more spice. I don't think this one had as much as 2 and 3 did in it, but you know, I still had to skip over some parts. I'm not gonna really be continuing this series, but I know I say but, I do have the next one. This is the 4th. I have the 5th one, and it's about 2 characters that, like, ever since reading the first one, I've just wanted to get to their story. So I'm gonna read that one. I don't know if I'll keep these books or not. I might only keep like the first one, since it only had that like one thing at the end that I remember. And then maybe if I like this 5th one, and if it doesn't have a bunch of stuff, I don't know. We will see, but I'm gonna at least read that one since I have it, and that's like the 2 characters I've actually wanted to read their story of. So yeah, but I gave this a 3 star. It's not clean. There was some parts I had to skip over. It's really annoying with Cheryl Woods though, because especially this series, like, she gets you so invested in the characters, and I feel like she rates pretty well and easily, but nothing really ever seems to happen until more than halfway through, you know, like the last quarter of the book. But the 2nd and 3rd one definitely had more in it, and I was like, I'm skipping so much, and it was annoying. But yeah, anyway, the next one is a novella that I read called It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas. This is by Juliana Keyes. This one is supposed to be closed door also. I will just say that I kind of felt like it was, but at the very end there was some very like obvious hinting and implying that they were shacking up, like literally, and that gave you that impression. I don't know, there were a few like comments, I guess, of innuendos here and there. And I will say, I gave this one a 3.25, by the way. I will say that the premise of this one is 2 writers who are sent to this like magical Christmas town that everybody like tries to book for the holiday, and it only takes but so many people, and it's like, you know, like a winter wonderland to the max. It's the most magical place, and they're sent there to like write an article on it. And I will say, the actual setting, the town, the Christmas magic, I feel like the author did a very good job for me with the atmosphere and like the town, because it did feel very magical. I think it was just like the romance and the story, and then obviously being a novella, I have some problems with novellas sometimes because I just feel like they're too quick to get stuff. But even without this being a novella, I just don't know if the characters were hitting quite right for me. So it was kind of just not quite so swoon-worthy for the atmosphere and the amazingly magical town that they were setting up. So that's why I gave it as high as the star that I did, 3.25, because the setup in the town was just so like magical. It really got me into the Christmas season and was like making me really excited for everything. But the actual romance just didn't quite hit for me. All right, and then the next book that I finished in the month of November, which I did start this one in October, was Worldliness: Resisting the Seduction of a Fallen World. This was edited by C.J. Mahaney. It has a couple of different authors, but he wrote, I believe, 2 or 3 of the chapters and then edited it all. And I enjoyed this one. I actually buddy read this one with Whitney over at, Whitney's Reading Journey, or I think it's Whitney's Reading Journey. I'll have her link down below. She is a doll, and I love her channel, and you should bless her with a sub. But yeah, we read this one, and I really enjoyed it. There were a few like small things within it that we were kind of like, don't quite agree with this, but at the same time, when me and Whitney were talking about it, we were like, don't you wish that you could just go and ask an author what exactly he meant? Because like, I feel like we could just be like, I feel like I know what you meant, but the way you said it ain't right, hun. Like, it ain't right. It gives a different implication than what I think you're trying to say. So I don't know. There were a couple of those moments throughout the book. And honestly, like, it had like some really good moments and some really rich stuff. And I did like highlight and underline throughout it. Had quotable, Christian walk, some that was convicted on, and then just some that was like everything else. And it had like different sections in here about is this verse in your Bible, God, my heart in media, God, my heart in music, God, my heart in stuff, God, my heart in clothes, and then like how to love the world. So it had like all these different things. I feel like some things just might have hit me a lot harder like a couple of years ago than they did now, but some of the things I had already heard brought up in like sermons and other talks and other books, and I feel like it hit me a lot harder towards the beginning of my motherhood journey, if that makes sense. I know for Whitney that this was a 5-star for her. I'm so happy for her. I do think that it has like, you know, the capability, but for me personally and how I rate books, when something has any little theological things wrong, I can't give it a 5. Like, I don't know. I have a really hard time giving it a 5-star. It has to be like really blowing me away if it has any little things. And because it did have a couple little things, I was kind of like, okay, well, it's not going to be an instant 5-star. But I don't know. I felt like some of the stuff would have hit better if I hadn't already gone through some of the stuff that the book talks about a couple of years ago towards the beginning of my motherhood journey. But I still think it's really great stuff, and you can go back to and try to like reassess how you're doing in areas and stuff like that. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it, and I'm really glad I read it, and I'm really glad I read it with Whitney because that was a really fun experience. And then the next book that I read was another novella, another arc actually, and it was Fake Dating for Christmas, and this was by Casey Hudson. I believe, I may be wrong, but I believe this was her debut novel or novella, I guess. And this was not like the biggest hit for me. And I don't want to hate on this author at all. Obviously, like, this is her first book. I want to explain why. I gave this one a 3 stars, like just solid 3 stars. And that was because honestly, like, there were so many good things in this novella, but the problem was sweet Casey just sped through it too fast. Like, novellas already feel really fast to me sometimes, and I feel like you can be missing stuff. But I feel like she was trying to put all of these things that are in, say, I'm going to use Sarah Adams, for example. And I'm going to just use the cheat sheet because that's my favorite, for example. So like the cheat sheet, all of this stuff, all of these trips, all of these things that are happening, she, in a full-length novel, does a very good job, you know, at it, I think. And she tried to get all of this stuff, and she tried to get it in just over 100 pages. It wasn't even like right under 200 for the novella. It was just over 100. I think it was 106 on ebook. And it just felt like there was so much lack of information and just like a sentence or two of being told something so that all of a sudden we can just introduce this whole new thing. It didn't give enough time to like really see the characters together a lot. The little bit that we did get, I felt like was good. Besides the like rushing through, all of a sudden we're here. The little bit that we got, I felt like was really good. So I really hope that this author, Casey, will like sit down and really like flesh out and write like a full blown like rom-com novel, because I think if she would and not like rush the way she did with this, I think that she has the potential to really like put out 4 or 5 star book. If she actually had this fleshed out, I feel like it could have been. It gave me little feelings and hints of it, and the parts that were actually like written out in full, some of their conversations or whatnot, gave me that hint of, ooh, you know, I want more, but it was just so rushed. It was hard to like, you couldn't really hold on to those. So I really hope that this author writes out a full-blown rom-com and not the novella and doesn't speed through it, because I think she has really great potential. I'm sorry for the, you know, like I said, it wasn't bad. I didn't want to give it under 3 stars because it was enjoyable and it was a very short novella. But I think she can do so much better, and I hope that we can all see her do so much better. So yeah, I read that short little novella. All right, next I read And that, and goodness, I forgot that I wasn't supposed to talk about that one as much. I have another video coming out in a few weeks, guys, or next week. I can't. Sometime during BOOKMAS, we'll just say that, because I can't keep track of what videos are coming up. You know, I have a whole schedule, and I know and we'll get it on time, but in my mind, it's not there. So some of these books, if I don't quite say as much, it is because they're in another exciting little video that I'm doing. And that was one of them, but I forgot, and, you know, oh well. If you get more, that spiel a whole second time, I'm sorry. But this one, I will try not to say too overly much about. This was the next book I read and finished in November. This is My Refuge by Ashley Al-Salabi. This is a, like, YA Christian book, more like teen girl focused. This follows 4 girls in 4 different countries going through different struggles. I would say, because of some of the content, I wouldn't really suggest this for under 14 to 15 years old. For this first one, this is book 1. There is a book 2. I am very excited to read it. I really enjoyed this, guys. Like, I think this author did such a good job handling some of the topics, and I will probably go into more detail in the other video. And heck, I might even do a full-on review for this one. I really loved this one. I don't know. We'll see. But I give this one a 4.75. So really loved. And yeah, I will probably talk more about this elsewhere. Right, and then my last ebook that I read that I don't have with me was H.G. Wells' The Invisible Man. My husband had read this one and suggested it to me, and so I got this on an ebook and I read it, and it was right over, I think, like 220 pages, something like that. And I think I was kind of like over anticipating how good it was going to be, because he was like, I think you're really going to like it. And I think I only give this one a 3.25 stars. I did like it. I just feel like, I don't know, I just felt like it kind of took a while to pick up and to kind of get to the point. I also feel like some of H.G. Wells' stuff, while I like it, I do think some of the way he does the sci-fi stuff and the way he writes is a little bit more like men geared, if that makes sense. But I did enjoy it. I just didn't like love it or fawn over it. So, and then the last book that I read this month and finished was A Wolf Called Wander by Rosanna Perry. So this is a book about a wolf that is based off of a story about a wolf that traveled a remarkable 1,000 miles across the Pacific Northwest. So, and it's got a whole bunch of wolf facts at the back here. I don't know if you can see how, like, it's got different color here. If you open up to where the different color is, right past there, it's all just like a bunch of wolf facts. So this was fun. This was fine. I gave this a 3 stars. I've been reading the like wolf facts to my kids, just the straight up wolf facts. Have not read the book to them. You know, this is like middle grade. I'm not a middle grader. I only gave this a 3 stars. Just animal stuff is, certain animals are my thing for sure. And being like in the mind of the animal, like I have liked that before. This one just didn't like hit all the way for me. So those are all my books that I read this month. And it's my little stack of physical books. And then I had the ebooks. So yeah, I can't believe November is over. I can't believe that we're in December. I mean, I'm so excited for Christmas and all these BOOKMAS videos. I hope you guys are enjoying. Please let me know, what was your favorite book of November? Do you have a favorite of November? I think My Refuge was my favorite of November, guys. Honestly, this book, not only is the cover stunning, but like, I knew what this book was about, but like, I was not expecting such insane depth. I can say words, guys. I swear. Oh my gosh. Such insane depth in this book for like a teen YA type of thing. Just wow. I'm very excited to get the second book of this. So yeah, that is my favorite book, and I hope you will tell me in the comments down below what your favorite book is, and I will see you in, I don't know, about 2 days for my next BOOKMAS video. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Bye!